has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast. Make sure you get the SportsGrid app on iOS or Android. It's available for free, and you're going to love it. You can watch the network on the phone. You can listen to the network on the phone. It's incredible. You can get in-game odds, everything. Follow your favorite hosts like Carver High. You're going to love it. The SportsGrid app. It's free. I don't know how many times I got to tell you. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Hey, did you know we're streaming on X? Just go to SportsGrid-Live and see for yourself. You can get the podcast for Coast to Coast and Ferrall on the Bench every day on iTunes. And later, you've got Game Time Decisions at 6 p.m. Eastern with the Kevin Walsh. And then In-Game Live with Scotty Wetzel and Dave Sherapan, opposite picks, and the Sportsbook Consigliere, 8 to 10 East. And then Sports Rage at 10 to midnight East. Plus, Carver and Lisi on SportsGrid Radio, always featured at nighttime at 8 o'clock. I think it's at 8, right? Is it not at 8? All right, 8 o'clock. There you go. The lineup tonight on SportsGrid TV and SportsGrid Radio for you. All right, we're into the second hour. We got interviews at the top of the next hour, so I thought I'd squeeze that in. I wanted to mention one last thing. So, again, I will stand by what I said. If it were a one-on-one tournament, I would pick Allen Iverson. And by the way, I did wear an Allen Iverson shirt today. I don't know if Luke, I am your father, caught that when I was standing in front of the camera before the show. I actually did it on purpose to see if he would notice that I had an Allen Iverson Kobe Bryant shirt on. And my daughter, Chop, said to me, "You got the drip today, old man." And it's because Allen Iverson was unguardable. Michael Jordan couldn't even guard him. He would win a one-on-one tournament against anyone in the world. Hands down, I would bet my life savings on it. No one could guard him. And now I think the newest version of him, and I don't think he's as good as Allen Iverson, Kyrie Irving, I think, would win a one-on-one. And I told you this last week. You want to make the dunk contest and something like a one-on-one interesting? Put $5 million on the table, and everyone will show up. And what are they going to do? The one-on-one tournament allegedly is going to be for $1 million. I guarantee you, everyone that matters in the NBA, Ann Edwards, all of them, they're all going to show up to play for that. $1 million. That's how you get people interested in the basketball tournament. They put $1 million on the table. People that play for charity and for children's hospitals and all this other stuff, no one cares. No one goes. No, they're just lying. Oh, we did it for the children. No, you didn't. Everyone does it for money. People want money. They don't want to save anyone. They want money for themselves.
That is where they should focus all of their time, is getting all the money together from the sponsors and plunking. They got to do it. It's going to be just like the World Series of Poker. Put $5 million in cash right there at center court. And then, you watch. They'll all just put their hand up on the bench, the guys who made the All-Star team. All right, I'm in for the dunk. Give me the ball. Let's go. Put the timer on.
And you'll pick the best players. You'll pick the ones that you want.
They will all run if they played for $5 million. And don't tell me that Adam Silver, the NBA, and this year it's TNT, next year NBC, they don't have, you know what they would get in terms of ratings-wise? A lot different than they got this weekend.
Huge.
If they did that. So there you go. We just solved their problems. $5 million, World Series of Poker style, in cash at center court. Hell, they can move the barrel of cash under the net and dunk over it if they want. They could use it as a prop. Put $5 million on the
coast to coast, always helping the citizenry and the community with good ideas.
Always.
That's how put that in the good idea book and get my tequila and pills out.
Gotta have it. All right. LeBron didn't play. He sat out with ankle soreness and a foot issue, ending his 20-year run of appearing in the game. He did, though, show up just to tell everybody why he wasn't playing. So he at least, I don't know what that meant. Why come at all? Should have just stayed home if you have all these problems. Here's LeBron. He had to show his face.
Kind of more a maintenance type of wear and tear situation.
I mean, it's a little bit of both. I was hoping that it would feel a lot better this morning, but it's not as where I want it to be. And, with 30 games left and us trying to make a playoff push in the Wild Wild West, I felt like it's very important for me to kind of take care of myself and understand, what's coming on. So I want to say it's maintenance. Well, it is maintenance, but at the same time, it's like, I have to look out for myself when it comes to this injury that I've been dealing with for years, and so I hope to be available on Wednesday. We have to have a makeup game, so I am headed back to LA tonight. There will be no vacation for me. So I head back to LA tonight and
what a shame.
Back to rehab tomorrow and getting ready for practice on Tuesday, and hopefully I can play against Charlotte on Wednesday and
just misery.
Hopefully play against Portland on Thursday. So it's a big stretch for us.
He kept bringing up the Wednesday thing because they're playing Wednesday night. They're the only, they're playing that makeup game from the Fires with Charlotte. Right. There are some who have suggested that he didn't play last night as like a give back to the league for rescheduling that game on Wednesday at the end of the All-Star break. That he did that to kind of stick it to the league that he didn't play in the game. He's like mad that they had to put their makeup game at the end of the All-Star break.
He's just got such a brutal existence. I mean, it's got to be rough for him, but I'll give him this much. I will give him credit. We all know how brilliant he is, how great he is, and he plays all the time. So I don't have a problem with him being one of these load management guys. If he says he's injured, I believe him because he's just always in the lineup and grinding. And he's 40 and he's still a badass and he's unstoppable. I get all that. But, any thought or even concern or question of like there's some kind of brutal existence here. We've gone through this with the 5-star hotels, the team plane, the luxury buses, the luxury food. They have chefs cooking them food on the plane. And don't even tell me I'm wrong. I've been on them. I've done it with the Steelers. I did it with the Thrashers. I know how they live. They stay at the Four Seasons and at the Ritz-Carlton. There is no such thing as suffering in the NBA. I guarantee you that, and believe me, there are better hotels in San Francisco than the Ritz-Carlton and the Four Seasons. Don't get me started. And I've stayed in them. And believe me, they've got the life of Riley. I don't want to hear, I don't get a vacation. Are you kidding me? His life is a vacation. Do you know how much money this guy has made between his NBA career and all of his productions and movies and documentaries and every commercials? I mean, this guy, he could buy literally any team he wants in any sport outright by himself. Michael Jordan did it. You don't think LeBron James is going to own a team soon? I bet he owns the team in Vegas.
Wouldn't stun me. He's talked about that in the past. Anthony Edwards also didn't play because of a groin injury, so he also missed the festivities last night. But nobody really watched anyway, so it's okay. Saturday night, McClung won the third straight dunk contest. We already told you how to fix that problem. Cash. He has now made $310,000. He's won 3 times, and he's made $310,000 off of the 3 wins. But he's actually made $132,000 in career NBA earnings. So more from the dunk. That guy loves the dunk contest, but he says he's probably not going to do it again.
He said he's not doing it again, and here's why: because he only made $300,000. Like, it's a joke. Like, the guy should be making $1 million a pop winning that dunk contest. They act like it's this big event, and then they fleece the guy that wins it. I guarantee you, we've already talked about this. I'm not going to keep repeating myself. One of these days, it's going to be for $1 million or $2 million or $5 million, and they're going to get every guy in the league to be in it. Next year, they're already talking about Giannis, Zach LaVine and John Morant are already allegedly going to be in it.
They did that last year, too. And where were they this year? They all did their little tweeting while Mac McClung was winning. And where were they? Nowhere to be found this year again. It's all about cash. They're not showing up for just highlights and camera clicks and glory. Cash. That's it.
I like John Morant.
slow play drumbeat grows louder and louder every week, to the point now that they're making overt references to it on the broadcast.
There's plenty of other guys that have to get faster. Tom definitely is more deliberate in his conversations, always has been since he's been on tour. I just think about Joe Scavern, when those two started working together, how their conversations always seem to just keep on going and going.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
At some point, these 80s are to learn, we don't need to hire ex-NBA guys. I need guys with college experience, who's gone out and recruited, who know how to develop talent. NBA guys with no college experience don't work in college basketball. I understand they run NBA-style offenses, but it doesn't mean they can run college programs.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
But if it ends up being 1 versus 2, which seems likely because the Cavs have a 5.5 game lead over Boston, the Celtics 3 games clear of the New York Knicks.
They're not unstoppable, not running away with everything, but for them to blow a 5.5 game lead on the backstretch in the NBA, already being a quality team outside of disastrous injuries, I don't buy that at this time.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Patino himself, in a clip that we just played, said basically the stats are not backing up the team's wins.
St. John's is offensive glass. That's where a lot of opportunities for St. John's came from. St. John's does not shoot the basketball well. It might even be fair to say they shoot it poorly. They were 3 of 16 from deep last night. But it doesn't seem to matter to them.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, Carver High. So there you go. You wanted to see Iverson and Kobe.
How's there that? It is.
You like that?
AI.
I think that's badass, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
No one
could
guard Allen Iverson.
Nobody could guard Allen Iverson. Very few could guard Kobe either. Kobe was pretty
Kobe
tough to
couldn't guard him either.
Kobe,
Michael Jordan, Kobe. It didn't matter. God couldn't guard Allen Iverson.
I got a couple other NBA things first. I'm in on the TGL here. Second of 3 matchups today. The simulator, of course, hitting golf balls into screens. We have the Bay Club against Atlanta in our second game of the day. Atlanta won the first game in thrilling fashion over Los Angeles, an overtime chip-off. Closest to the pin, got them the win. So now they are here playing their second match of the day. Against the Bay.
We're on Atlanta on these teams now. Break it down for me.
Atlanta has in this match Justin Thomas, Patrick Cantlay, and Lucas Glover. The Bay has Ludwig Eber, who of course had a big day yesterday. He won himself a cool $3.2 million at the Genesis. Wyndham Clark and Minwoo Lee, all on the green team, the Bay Club.
So he flew from California. They all flew from California to Florida to do this.
Yeah, all of them. I mean, everybody who's playing in these 3 matches today played in the Genesis this weekend. So quick turnaround. None of them are playing this week because it's a bit of a donkey tournament with Mexico. None of the heavies are going down there for the Mexico Open. So
when they throw the hammer, what is the hammer?
You can double the amount of points you can win on the hole. So Cantlay just threw the hammer. Now the hole's worth 2 points instead of 1. So they've got so the hammer's like a little bonus point thing that they have.
The
so
Bay
Clark
is stomping Atlanta now.
Wow. So Clark dropped the hat. Yes, the Bay now up 3, or they would be up 3 after that.
2. I think 2.
Not a good scene. Oh, he canceled the hammer out. That's what Cantlay did there. Here's the rest of the NBA. Tyler Hero won the 3-point contest. Congratulations.
We had him. We had him as one of our choices as a prop.
He was one of those 3 guys in the 5 to 6 to 1 range, and he came through for us. Team Cavaliers won the skills challenge. I did not see any of this, but apparently there was some shenanigans by CP3 and Wemby, and they were disqualified. And then, like, poor Allie LaForce went over to interview them on the bench, and the NBA guy was like, get away from him. Can't talk to him. I guess they didn't want him talking about being disqualified from the skills competition. Whatever. It's like the most exciting thing that happened.
I saw Wembanyama actually do an interview, and he said he did it. He said Chris did it.
What are they doing? I guess they weren't really taking shots. They were trying to get through it fast, so they were just throwing the ball off the rack.
I don't know, because I didn't watch any of their stupid weekend. I told you, man. I was playing ball. I was going to ball games. I was, real stuff, real life stuff. None of that nonsense.
The Clippers will host next year's festivities at the Intuit Dome in 2026.
It's a great arena.
I can't wait to see what kind of dopey stuff they come up with for that, because they did a bad job with this one. So I can't wait to see what they come up with next year.
Whatever it is, in 2 years, the Super Bowl's back there. I hope that the week of the Super Bowl, they have a Clippers game at that place, because I'd like to go to that $2 billion, whatever it is, arena. It's something else, I heard.
I bet you they'll have something there, too. I bet you they'd have, like, the media night there, probably.
Something.
They'll do something over at that place with Super Bowl week. The Bulls signed Lonzo Ball to an extension. Terms of the deal were not announced.
How about that? The guy was finished. His career was over. His knees shot, and he's had all these surgeries, and he's back, and he's balling, and they gave him a deal. There was talk of him being moved at the deadline, but instead he gets an extension and all kinds of money, and it's so much they won't even talk about it.
Won't even tell you how much that they gave him. The Basketball Hall of Fame finalists for this year were named this weekend as well. They'll announce those. I believe it's Final Four weekend is when they announce who actually is getting in to the Hall of Fame. But Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard, Sue Bird, Maya Moore, among others, Billy Donovan, Mark Few. There was a lot of names on the list.
So let me ask you this question.
Finalists.
So
yes.
I'm just asking because I know how sensitive people get. But look, Melo won Syracuse a national championship by himself. Literally, he won that title, not Boeheim. Melo won that title. But in the NBA, what did he do? He shot 30 times a game and he made threes, right? Like that's what he did. He never won anything. Do you think he's a Hall of Famer?
Well,
just because he can shoot threes, like honest to Christ. I mean, at some point, are they ever going to say, you know what? You didn't win. You don't have anything. You just shot threes. Like, do you really think because he scored a lot of points, fair enough. Because in the NBA, who doesn't? Like, if you're a starter in the NBA and you play as long as he did, you're going to get your chucks. And he got them, right? And that's what he did. Do you think he's legit, automatic Hall of Famer? No questions asked. When you think of him, is it with immediacy that you put him in? Because it's not me.
He, you look at his numbers.
I thought he was a really good player. That was it.
When he retired, he was the 9th leading scorer in history with 28,000 points.
So that's why they're going to put him in? Just because he played long enough and shot enough shots. He was a ball hog. He never passed. He just shot.
Now, the Basketball Hall of Fame is a little bit different than baseball, football, and hockey because it includes you're in everything. The Basketball Hall of Fame is your entire career, collegiate and professional. So him winning the title at Syracuse, combined with his 28,000 points in the NBA, he's going to be in. There's no doubt he's going to be in. But that's Olympic gold.
Olympic medals.
He's got a ton of Olympic medals. So it's not just your NBA resume. That's
I just
why
wanted
you
to be
also
sure
have,
that everyone understands how much I hate Syracuse, that I'm willing to block his entry into the baseball.
Cleveland will get the next WNBA team. They'll get the next expansion franchise. More teams.
slow play drumbeat grows louder and louder every week, to the point now that they're making overt references to it on the broadcast.
So there's plenty of other guys that have to get faster. Tom definitely is more deliberate in his conversations, always has been since he's been on tour. I just think about Joe Scavern, when those two started working together, how their conversations always seem to just keep on going and going.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
At some point, these 80s are going to learn we don't need to hire ex-NBA guys. I need guys with college experience who's gone out and recruited, who know how to develop talent. NBA guys with no college experience don't work in college basketball. I understand they run NBA-style offenses, but it doesn't mean they can run college programs.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
But if it ends up being 1 versus 2, which seems likely because the Cavs had a 5.5 game lead over Boston, the Celtics 3 games clear of the New York Knicks.
They're not unstoppable, not running away with everything, but for them to blow a 5.5 game lead on the backstretch in the NBA, already being a quality team outside of disastrous injuries, I don't buy that at this time.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Patino himself, in a clip that we just played, said basically the stats are not backing up the team's wins.
St. John's offensive glass. That's where a lot of opportunities for St. John's came from. St. John's does not shoot the basketball well. It might even be fair to say they shoot it poorly. They were 3 of 16 from deep last night, but it doesn't seem to matter to them.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Carver Hayes, you know you're really a Siskel and Ebert genius when it comes to the top 500 movies of all time. And I watched a movie last night. I wasn't going to watch that stupid basketball game. So I watched this horror movie with my daughter, and it was unbelievable. Did you know that, like, I never knew this, but they actually make movies in Europe where where like the bad guy wins.
Really?
You know how, like, in Hollywood, the good guy always wins. At the end of the day, you know what's going to happen. Even in horror movies, they're going to, Michael Myers or whoever else, in the end, the sun's going to come up and everyone's going to, oh, I love you, and everyone wins. Well, just so you know, in Europe, they don't do it that way. I watched this European horror movie. These 2 American actors were tortured by these teenagers in a camp setting, and like they were camping by this lake, and they got, they started effing with them. I mean, one thing after the next. And I was like, the whole movie, I kept saying to her, they're going to split this kid's head open. They're going to crush his skull. He's going to hang from a tree. He's going to, it never happened. In the end, both of the people that they acted with ended up dead, and the kids won. I was like, that's the greatest movie I've ever seen. The bad guy won. Like, at the end of the movie, the bad guy's looking at himself in a mirror and sunglasses. He's like, what's up? I killed everybody. I was like, what is happening here? I got to watch more movies like that, Carver High, where the bad guy wins. Like, I am a big fan, as you know, of the Penguin. Colin Farrell as the Penguin. I'm rooting for him in all crimes in Gotham.
Gotta have it, indeed. It's nice when the bad guy wins sometimes.
I mean,
it's
I've
gotta
never seen
happen
that.
every once in a while. It's okay. It's a good thing here and there. We need to start getting into some movies. Now that football season's over, Sunday nights go back
now
to
that the regular season
us
NBA is all
watching
we
shows.
have, it's time to watch horror movies.
Right. So I usually dominate, when the kids go to bed, the television on Saturday and Sunday nights. Now that's changed. Now that that all that's over with, and we get back to maybe catching up on some shows and things. So I'll have to look into a few things. How about hockey?
Everybody loves hockey.
Tell you, everybody loved hockey this weekend, man. If there was one thing, it's very rare you come back here on a Monday and hockey was the bigger, had more juice than the NBA, besides just us. I know that it always has more juice with us, but everyone was into that game on Saturday night. We will tell you, Canada did win this afternoon if you're just joining us now. They beat Finland in Boston, so that sets up a rematch for USA and Canada, which will be Thursday night in Boston. But we have to go back for a few of these things on Saturday night because it was just too good. USA beat Canada 3-1. Game tied at 1 in the second. Dylan Larkin getting involved on ESPN.
Now it's Larkin with a burst of speed. He scores! Dylan Larkin in transition gives the United States the lead for the first time tonight.
It was a great shot. He had a 2-on-1. He could have gone over, but he just snapped it and got it under and the pad, and that was that. And then they get the empty netter. It was a great game. Look, we've already heard it all today that everyone, there's no denying that they got their hands full against this Canadian team on Thursday night. They had their hands full Saturday night, and they won the game. They got the go-ahead goal. They got an empty netter, and they won. Can they beat them again? I guess, you heard Morency. He said no, that Canada will win the game. And some other expert he talked about said they'd lose the game. But the U.S. team is good. So they have every chance in the world to win that game Thursday night. And we'll see if they can get it done. I don't think it's going to be easy because, let's face facts, Canada's loaded. Canada can break your neck in 5 seconds. They can score quickly. And that's what they did today to Finland. Bang, bang. It was 2-0. The game was over.
Look, am I going to be surprised if Canada wins on Thursday night? No, of course I'm not going to be surprised if Canada wins. Do I think it's some done deal because the United States beat them on Saturday? Absolutely not. Though that game was as tight, a best on best, down to the wire, razor thin margins between the two of them. And it's going to be just like that again on Thursday. And all it takes is one goalie making a mistake and being a little bit better than the other goalie, and that could be the difference in the game. And United States, they have the better goalie in the game on Thursday night.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
You want me to solve all this tush-push and fourth down malarkey that goes on with the officials? Here's a crazy idea. Get rid of the worst rule in the NFL, and that is forward progress. How about this? Where I knock your ass in the ground is where the ball goes, period. Let's end this whole conversation. Like, if I drop you back 4 yards, then you lost 4 yards. If we get rid of forward progress, this tush-push and everything else is taken care of. Where I put your tail on the ground is where the ball goes, end of conversation. It's the dumbest rule and the most arbitrary rule. The only thing that is a worse call in the NFL than forward progress is the punt that goes out of bounds when you watch the official walk down the sideline having absolutely no clue where that ball crossed over. All I can think of is that Price is Right game go do-de-do-de-do, do-de-do-de-do, as he's walking down the sideline, arbitrarily trying to figure out where the ball crossed over because he's got no clue.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Turning the corner here, Carver High, and heading for home on a Misery Monday on C2C. Good to have you with us. We're in New York City along with Carver. I'm Ferrall. We're still talking about Saturday night's big hockey game between the USA and Canada that the U.S. won 3-1.
There's just one other thing I wanted to bring up with you about the game, and that was obviously the start of it, which was the fights, right go. And we know how these things usually go on when there's bad blood between teams and the NHL. You know, you might send your, goon line out or one of your fourth line and have a problem. This seemed not like that. It seemed, as most of the players said, it was pretty organic. You had 3 fights in the first 9 seconds. Both the Tkachuk brothers were involved. You had JT Miller as the third American player. The Tkachuk boys dropped the gloves 29 years after their dad, and I remember that. You remember
I remember
Keith Tkachuk
it too.
and Claude Lemieux at the 96 World
Yes.
Cup? It's unbelievable. And it had that, if you couldn't ramp that crowd up enough, and then those 3 fights happened in the first 9 seconds, you could feel it through the screen how absolutely bonkers was. What did you think of the fighting at the beginning?
Well, I was into it. I love it, and I can't get enough of it. And I still like fighting in the NHL, and I always have. I was enamored with it as a kid, and I'd go to games and I'd watch Paul Baxter get in a fight every night for the Penguins. I just think it's fantastic, and I know all these new age hockey people don't want hockey fights, and I think they're tripping. So, I'll never side with them or agree with them. It is what it is. And I was friends with Keith. I knew Keith really well, and he was a great player. He was a badass, and he was tough. Honest to God, I think he's tougher than both of his kids. I really do. I thought Keith Tkachuk was a mother Ferreller. He would fight anybody. And, he was nasty tough. I think Matt's a better hockey player than his dad. I really do. I think Brady's – I'd put Brady under Matty. I think Matty's just, like Gabe said, one of the best in the world now. I love the fights. I thought they were fantastic. I hope there's more of them Thursday.
Yeah, it's a possibility, that's for sure. Of course, Mike Sullivan, the head coach, here he was talking about it.
I did not see it brewing. I knew there was going to be an intensity to the start of the game. I knew that I knew how invested both teams were and what it meant to the players. I didn't anticipate, it to start the way it started, but I did anticipate an emotional start, probably a physical start. And so, it was an electric environment. It was an emotional environment, and both sides were they were vested. It was, it set the tone for the rest of the hockey game, which was an emotionally intensive game. One of the more intense games that I've certainly witnessed and been associated with.
Listen, this guy's a great coach. He's got Stanley Cups now, and seriously, a couple things. One, I think the Penguins, I have always felt there's been a problem in sports with turnover and change. Just doing it for the sake of change to me is a bad idea in life. People changing things that work, that have worked, that does work, just because they don't have players that are in their prime anymore. Sidney Crosby and Malkin, when they won all those cups with Fleury and Murray, they were at the peak of their youth and the best point of their career. They were at their all-time high as players. They're not winning again. They're not winning another Stanley Cup. The rest of the team sucks, right? Crosby's still great. The rest of the team sucks. Mike Sullivan does not suck, okay? If they fire that guy just to change, they need a change in the room. I hear that all the time. They just need a change. No, they don't. That guy's a great coach. Secondly, I think his daughter's married to that Charlie McAvoy, right? And had a baby. I think he's got a grandkid now. He's got a grandchild, and he's, obviously from Boston, and he was with Boston, and everyone always thought he'd be the, Boston Bruins coach, and he's been in Pittsburgh forever. I just think it would behoove them to keep him. I think that they should not even remotely consider getting rid of Mike Sullivan. If I'm wrong, why is he the coach of Team USA? Because he sucks, or because the Penguins suck? Is he the head coach because he's on this loser? He's got that job because he's a great coach. And they should just stop with all their nonsense. The Penguins' problem, Mike, as you know, is they have no talent. It's that, and no goaltending. Let's just stop with all this nonsense that it's his fault. What they should do is give him a new extension long-term and let him coach his way through this mess. And they need to draft again like they did with Lemieux and Crosby. They need to get their hands on another star player or two to start it all up over again. That's how you win Stanley Cups. Look, I still believe Connor McDavid's going to win a Stanley Cup. This guy in Colorado, he's won every award known to man. McKinnon, he's got every award known to man. The Hart, he's got a Stanley Cup. McDavid's going to get his Stanley Cup. He's too good not to. Name one great player. They even bought Ray Bourque a Stanley Cup. Name one great player in history, really, that doesn't have a Stanley Cup. That was just an unbelievable great player. McDavid's going to get one too. This year.
Maybe he will. Crosby lost a game with Canada for the first time since 2010. Then they won again today. The USA-Canada game had 4.4 million viewers, most watched non-Stanley Cup final hockey game since 2019. I also saw, now I know it wasn't a big weekend. There wasn't a lot of other things going on. It was the most bet sporting event at a couple of the books throughout the entire weekend of everything going on. So the USA-Canada game it got a lot of buzz, and now we will have 3 days to build the buzz for Thursday night, which is when they are going to get back together. And you guys talked about this, me and you haven't. They should have did a semifinal after the round robin. They should have had 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3, but they knew that this was going to be their best way to protect getting USA-Canada again. So that's why they did this. And they didn't want to play an extra game for all the guys that are so beat up after it. All right, tonight, that means USA-Sweden tonight is basically nothing on the line. This is a true exhibition game. USA actually isn't going to play a couple of their guys. Kachuk's not playing. McAvoy's not playing. They've put in a few of the others. Ottinger's starting instead of Hellebuck. So United States is still minus 210 and Sweden's plus 172, 5.5. I got to tell you, I could see the United States coasting tonight, not going 100% like they have in the first 2 games, and I could see Sweden winning the game now.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I don't care about this game anymore because it doesn't matter. And like getting me to bet on things that don't matter is a dangerous way to make a living, boy. Honestly, like I'm not betting on some game that they're not going to try. They're going through the motions tonight. For fans that are sold out that arena, that are going to spend a lot of money on tickets and on concessions and on jerseys and everything else, and all the kids that are going to be there, they're going to put on a show. It's literally the NBA All-Star game. I mean, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be like, here, we're going to put on a show, and I am not betting.
Yeah. It does stink that Montreal had all these huge, had all the huge games Thursday and Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday last week. And now, but I mean, they're getting the big game. Boston's getting the big game on Thursday night. That will be
I'll bet on that, and I'm going to be watching that, and I'm not going to watch anything else. I will not watch the NBA on Thursday. I will not watch anything but USA, Canada. No. That's that.
I am going to have to find a spot at the Wolf Lounge, get the kids to sleep. There's a bar down there in the lobby, and they're gonna have that. They better have that US. I'm gonna go there early in the day on Thursday and say,
well, you would think
ESPN
that the Wolf
tonight,
Lodge would be into hockey, in the mountains there, and the cold atmosphere, the wolf, the winter, the snow.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. the New York team has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
You want me to solve all this tush-push and fourth down malarkey that goes on with the officials? Here's a crazy idea. Get rid of the worst rule in the NFL, and that is forward progress. How about this? Where I knock your ass in the ground is where the ball goes, period. Let's end this whole conversation. Like, if I drop you back 4 yards, then you lost 4 yards. If we get rid of forward progress, this tush-push and everything else is taken care of. Where I put your tail on the ground is where the ball goes, end of conversation. It's the dumbest rule and the most arbitrary rule. The only thing that is a worse call in the NFL than forward progress is the punt that goes out of bounds when you watch the official walk down the sideline having absolutely no clue where that ball crossed over. All I can think of is that Price is Right game go do-de-do-de-do, do-de-do-de-do, as he's walking down the sideline, arbitrarily trying to figure out where the ball crossed over because he's got no clue.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
So here we go to baseball, spring training, and it's just unbelievable to me because, listen, I like the guy a lot, Stanton, but, I mean, what are we here? Like 5 days into it, the guy's already crippled? What is happening here?
Well, look, we know the deal with Stanton by now. He gets hurt a lot.
I need him in October.
He's so good in October that, like, you don't want to give him too much business. But, like, here's what bothers me about this one. Like, apparently this has bothered him. This was bothering him last year in the regular season, and he played through it. And what's he been doing for 3.5 months, 4 months? Like, since the season ended, like, we couldn't get something done to fix the elbows up a little bit, and now we show up, and it's here's Boone talking about it yesterday when Giancarlo showed up to camp.
Position players report.
Yes.
And anybody come in with any offseason injuries, anything like that?
Yeah. So Giancarlo's a little behind. Just dealing with some elbow stuff that he dealt with last year. Actually, both elbows kind of really akin to tennis elbow, and just that he maintained and kind of played through. Especially the second half of the year. So we want to make sure that give it that as much time. So we'll kind of probably slow play him a little bit.
There goes the spring.
He's not playing in the spring.
He's not playing at all. He's not playing at all.
And then he talked today. He said, I haven't swung a bat in weeks because of it. He said weeks he hasn't swung a bat. It hurts him so much. So that's not a promising start to the Yankee camp for one of their guys that they're going to be counting on to do big things. We could use a little bit more out of him, that's for sure. Meanwhile, in Port St. Lonesome, Juan Soto has arrived at Met Camp. Of course, the historic 15-year deal with the Mets. He is ready to go. Talking about, has it sunk in yet, Scotty, that the guy's got all this money?
Has it set in at all, that 15-year commitment? Biggest contract in the history of pro sports. Have you been able to digest that?
Not yet. I'm still thinking about it and everything. It's just unbelievable. Right. You know, it's really playing. I'm really happy for that. I'm really happy to know where I'm gonna be for the next 15 years. You know, and more than excited to spend it with this group of guys. I only hear great things about them, and let's see how everything goes.
Get serious.
Yeah, listen, I am not rooting for him at all whatsoever. Those days are over. He was a badass, and now he's the enemy. He's the enemy for you and I. Like, who are you kidding? We hate the Mets.
It's true.
So,
yeah, I
won't deny they had a great run, and I thought it was fun, and I enjoyed it. I was rooting for him when it got to that point, and I enjoyed watching them. And I said it on this show. Like, I just pretended like they weren't the Mets. I don't like the Mets.
Oh, by the way, the Mets, we said last week they don't have much pitching as it is. Who's really going to be starting games for them?
Oh, yeah.
Frankie Montas is one of their big offseason pickups. Well, you can already strike him off the board as he's already hurt. It's going to be 6 weeks before he does anything. I believe it was a lat I saw for Frankie Montas. So one of the Mets starters already down. Speaking of Soto, here I saved this over for you from Friday. Top 10 MLB players going into this season, according to people who think they know. Soto is there at number 4. Ohtani, Judge, Witt, Soto, Betts, Lindor, Yordan Alvarez, Freddie Freeman, Jose Ramirez, and Gunnar Henderson. The top 10 players, according to people who know.
Listen, there's a couple guys, Machado and Tatis, Johnny Orange Juice out there, that I could argue are better than Gunnar Henderson. But that I don't have a problem with really the rest of the list. And those are all great players. It is what it is. Who cares?
Yep. There was a time where that list always had Mike Trout on it. Mike Trout was this mainstay on the top 10 players in Major League Baseball.
He gets more injured than Stanton.
But he doesn't play anymore. So in order to try to rectify that, the Angels will be moving Mike Trout from center field, where he's played all his career, to right field. Here's Mike this morning. I mean, I guess he's agreeing to it. I mean, he doesn't seem all that enthused about it, but he's agreeing to it.
Kind of just threw everything on the table, as in what's best for me. Body-wise, keep me on the field. Came to the conclusion that I'm going to go to right field. Like it. Try it out. See where it goes.
Were you mixing center at all? Is this going to be straight?
Yeah, no, it's not. I'm going to play right, but they say there could be some times where I do play center too. So
was that a tough thing? I mean, obviously you've kind of always been a center fielder. Is it tough to kind of?
I knew it was coming, but just got used to it. But I just want to be on the field.
Let's face facts. He signed that deal with this Angels ball club and Artie Moreno, and he's been a cripple ever since he's been there. It's like the worst thing that ever happened to him. He signed that deal, and he's been injured the entire time. I mean, I don't know what's worse, Rendon or him. They're both absolute. He's literally never plays. I mean, what did he last year? Like 30 games? And he was done for the year. Like, I don't trust that guy's body for 5 seconds. I don't deny his talent. I don't deny how great he was. But he never plays anymore. So I don't want to hear it. No one cares. Like, what am I going to talk about? Some guy that never plays? He's always injured, and he's getting $475 million guaranteed, every penny of it. He's living in like Newport Beach like a king in a castle with 20 bedrooms, 20,000 square acres. He's probably got a basketball court in his living room. I mean, my man, he's got a yacht. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't play baseball. All he does is party and have sex. He doesn't have to do a thing. He doesn't even work. I mean, honestly, who cares about Mike Trout anymore? Where he plays right field, who cares?
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Bregman with the Astros, and now I hate him even more with the Red Sox.
Yeah, you are going to hate him even more. But after I play you this clip, I'm going to tell you, I guess his signing has caused a little bit of a disturbance with the Red Sox. Let's first hear from Bregman. He was introduced yesterday as a Red Sox. He knows a lot. All he's known is winning in Houston. He expects that to continue in Boston.
It's good to be here. I've been fortunate enough to be in the playoffs the first 8 years of my career, and I plan on continuing to do that here. I'm a winning player. This is a winning organization. Those players are winning players. We have winning coaches here, and I plan on winning here.
Plans on winning there.
There you go.
So,
Great. Good
of
for
course,
you.
Bregman's been a third baseman his entire career. The Red Sox have
Not
a third
anymore.
baseman in Rafael Devers. So people thought Bregman would be playing second. So they showed up this morning, and where was Alex Bregman taking ground balls? Third base. So who'd everybody run to? Rafael Devers. Do you plan on, they want you to DH, play first base? Nope. I'm a third baseman. I was told I'd be the third baseman, and that's what I'm doing. Cora said, I know he was promised that by previous management. There's new management here now. So he's going to have to deal with it. So it sounds like you're going to have a problem between Rafi Devers and the Boston Red Sox. What a shame it would be if he had to leave or was traded so that he couldn't bash the Yankees over the head multiple times a year. Get him out of there, Scotty. Go ahead. Send Rafi Devers somewhere else.
We'll take him in New York.
They need a third baseman. Yanks can use a third baseman. We'll take Devers. Come on down.
Yeah, they're not that stupid there. Maybe they are. I wish they were.
I'll pick him up. I'll go up there and get him. I'll drive him back. The Nationals side, Paul DeJong today to a 1-year deal. The Royals gave Cole Reagans a 3-year extension. Got 13.25, really just buying out the rest of his arbitration years. Christian Yelich expects to be ready for opening day. You remember he had back surgery, I believe it was around July or August last year. And he says another guy, you could put him in the Trout bucket now. Never plays. Yelich has been hurt a lot.
Yeah, I got reservations about anybody that has back surgery, okay? Like, that's a bad sign. I don't care who it is. Once you have back surgery once, you'll probably have to have it again.
You probably would have to have it again. Paul Skeens, he's dangerous already. Now he's talking about adding a cutter and a two-seamer to what he's already throwing filthy stuff.
Listen.
You gonna give him a cutter now too?
All right, listen. That sounds dangerous to me, that he's going to start adding pitch. He's already got 5 pitches. Can we just go out and not have your arm fall off trying 7 pitches? Can we just you had a 1.96 ERA. Can we just throw strikes and get guys out? And I mean, nobody can hit on the team anyway. So can you not have your arm fall off and have Tommy John? Can we just go out and pitch the way you pitched and not because the more you add, the more angles, the more spin, the more this, that. To me, it just sounds like injuries waiting to happen. These guys throw so hard now that, I mean, what guy in Major League Baseball hasn't had a Tommy John surgery? Pitcher. Is there anyone left?
No. I mean, a lot have had it, that's for sure. And Skeen's throwing more pitches. Remember, Pirates are going to be depending on their starting rotation this year to win them a lot of games.
And they were going to trade. They were going to get rid of Jones, like these idiots.
Yeah, they can't figure it out.
They really are idiots. I mean, honestly, they're the worst.
The A's are giving manager Mark Kotsay a 3-year extension. So he will, of course, you can't call them.
You might as well. Nobody else wants to manage that team.
Nobody else wants to manage
They're playing
the team.
in a minor league stadium.
Sacramento is where they'll be this year. Sacramento before Vegas. That's when it probably lines up, right? It lines up his deal. He probably won't even bring it to Vegas. They'll get some big manager before they go to Vegas.
That's exactly what'll happen.
Your boy Mark. All right, there you go with the baseball. All right, when we come back, I know you have obviously Jerry Palm, and then I'll have Smiley, and then after that, I have so much college rack from the weekend that I have to get to you. I mean, Auburn, Alabama game, Cooper Flagg dropping that he might stay in college next year, another year at Duke. I've got a couple coaches melting down after losses. I've got it all for you.
I love that.
Slow play drum beat grows louder and louder every week, to the point now that they're making overt references to it on the broadcast.
So there's plenty of other guys that have to get faster. Tom definitely is more deliberate in his conversations, always has been since he's been on tour. I just think about Joe Scavern, when those two started working together, how their conversations always seem to just keep on going and going.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
At some point, these 80s are going to learn we don't need to hire ex-NBA guys. I need guys with college experience, who's gone out and recruited, who knows how to develop talent. NBA guys with no college experience don't work in college basketball. I understand they run NBA-style offenses, but it doesn't mean they can run college programs.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
But if it ends up being 1 versus 2, which seems likely because the Cavs had a 5.5 game lead over Boston, the Celtics 3 games clear of the New York Knicks.
They're not unstoppable, not running away with everything, but for them to blow a 5.5 game lead on the backstretch in the NBA, already being a quality team outside of disastrous injuries, I don't buy that at this time.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Patino himself, in a clip that we just played, said basically the stats are not backing up the team's wins.
St. John's offensive glass. That's where a lot of opportunities for St. John's came from. St. John's does not shoot the basketball well. It might even be fair to say they shoot it poorly. They were 3 of 16 from deep last night. But it doesn't seem to matter to them.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.